Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hyperion-Blue-GT is here. It's time to get ready for round 2 in the second season of the 2021 Series Nations Cup on Gran Turismo Sport. Here we are in the East Course layout and reverse at Autodrome Lago Maggiore for 23 laps. By using the Group 4 category, we'll get started by having 2 mandatory tire requirements we'll be using with the medium and hard racing compound tires for today. This will be a 30-minute time limit we'll be going in for having a long race. We'll get settled in for every Group 4 race cars, including the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy 2011 is going to be the main use for having a best performance will be suitable to be on a track. Every Group 4 race car will be entered at any time, so better make sure this one might have a tight corners we'll be going in by having an opposite direction. So luckily, the Toyota 86 Group 4 with the UDRS in Sportec have already placed to be on the Michelin tire stickers to be as a main promise. Luckily, the original clip will be posted at any time until I'll be get started out for having a new video segment, so I'll be using with the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy 2011 with the Simtropolis livery variant will be going in to be in the most participate race we'll get settled on for having a practice. So make sure you guys, balance of performance regulation will be setting up automatically on every Group 4 race cars to be in a different drivetrain layout. So let's get in there and do a lot of good clean race practice. We'll be joining in session. Before you enjoy watching the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out some more videos if you like. Feel free to enjoy it anytime you want for the entertainment. Now it's time to get ready to start the race, and let's begin. The second season of the 2021 Series Nations Cup is about to begin. Group 4 race cars are now ready to be on the reverse track to be in late layout in Autodrome Lago Maggiore East. Here's Stupid 007 in first place, and we have Scoot Plastic in second place to be ready to go on over. John West 2016 takes third place in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4, and we have D'Artagnan is now going in to be at position number 4. Fifth place is El Moro 14 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 to have a different livery scheme variant. And we have XX Brandon CXX is arriving in to be at position number 6. SoCal J4 is now in 7th place by using the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy. And here is Mother 111 in 8th place. Followed by 9th place is Race Car 115. We'll be ready to go to have a best mid-engine layout that be on the most finest Maggiore Trophy ever yet. Here's myself in 10th place for the Simtropolis livery, and here's Show Off 28 in 11th place to be using the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4. And here is Asu KC in 12th place by using the same Scirocco Group 4. Miss Iraja is arriving in onto position number 13. Jim Lee 131 is arriving onto position number 14. And we have Fito 2982 is at position number 15. I-96 Tessio 96i is in position number 16 for the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy. And here's Big Red Hippie 3 in 17th place for the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 4. The Drunken Ninja is now going over to be at position number 18 in the Subaru WRX Group 4. K Roots 16 is now taking the Chevy Corvette C7 in 19th place. And we have the last place driver in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport will be given the title by a second ago. Alright, so it looks like this is going to be the perfect race. We'll be settled in by having a rolling start to be at the hairpin towards the final turn at the 90-degree angle right corner. We'll have to go on over to participate to have a nice, excellent race to be reached up onto turn 1 to be at the first hairpin. So get ready, you guys. This one might take a perfect moment to be in the second round in the second season of the 2021 Series Nations Cup is going underway. Green light is in the go, and let's see how this race will might have to reach up by only 30 minutes by the total time. Looks like this is going to be a fine inside formation out there. All we can see is some outside cornering is going to get much late braking, so be very exercise caution whenever we're about to be using for the Scirocco Group 4 or the Maggiore Trophy. Is going to be the hardest challenge we'll have to keep up for having a difference of the drivetrain battle between the FF versus the MR layout is going to be going over to be in the first sector. Sector 2 is coming in, and we have two drivers coming up the track and goes right back in progress, but this one might have to take a good slow position to avoid a penalty. Mother 111 did the right thing. Now coming in onto the second hairpin, we'll have to be ready because this is going to be a thrill of a battle to see how the slipstream is going to be going, increase the acceleration. Looks like SoCal J4 is going to have to take a blocking defense, and that one might have race car is now going to be going over to be at sector 3. It looks like Show Up 28 in the orange Volkswagen Scirocco, and oh man, looks like there goes, looks like Mother 111 is going off the track and goes right back in. I bet this is going to be taking a much suitable condition that we might have to keep a good mobility. Otherwise, that we might have to lose grip by preventing a spin out. That was a close call for having a sight relief. Now coming in at the end of the first lap after the 90-degree angle as the final corner to be moved on in lap number 2. Show Up in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is now going in to be at position number 8. SoCal J is going to have to keep much closer in for it. Just going to have to keep oversteer pressure onto the brakes in the first corner to be at the first hairpin. That means for having my current position to be in 9th place in the Metropolis livery is going to be the only exact spot we'll have to catch up onto the Volkswagen in position number 8. Sector 1 will be moved forward to be at sector 2, and late braking point is going to be extremely caution, and there's a Azu KC in the same Volkswagen Scirocco in a different livery. But hold on, looks like going up the track and goes right back in. This is going to get much harder out there for only an understeer Group 4 racer. Could probably have to stay in the good perfection line to be on the road surface of the track. Now we have John West 2016 to be in the fastest lap time for only 1 minute and 31.739 seconds. I bet he is going in for taking the lead to be on the front out there, folks. That one might have a first place spot to be for having a good successful moment for John West 2016. Coming in at the 90-degree angle at the final corner and go straight up towards at the end of lap number 2, and this one might give a good new record set for only 1 minute and 25.724 seconds. How awesome to see how he can do it for having a much brilliant clean race. But hold on, looks like Duplicate 007 is now coming forward to catch up onto John West 2016 after turn 1 at the first hairpin. And we have El Moro 14 in the Volkswagen Scirocco for having a penalty effect in 1.5 seconds. Maybe this one might have to call out for the investigation to have an instant replay. Moving on in 9th place to be in the same thing for the Metropolis variant of the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy. Now coming in to take that current position by the braking point to be in sector 2. This part of the corner layout is going to be much challenging, just like the forward layouts. But hold on, by the second is going to be received for SoCal J4 for having a penalty for only 0.5 seconds. This might have an ignoring track limit is going to be detected. He has to be very much challenging, to be very much caution, to be exercised. Going up the straight to be reached up at sector 3. Hold the brake to be at the left corner turn. But this is a very good way to be starting out by using the medium compound tires to be suitable to adjust the brake balance to be at the rear number 2. Going up and take that position at the third hairpin to be reached up onto the final corner. And that means that we might have the third lap will have to proceed forward for every drivers, including the top 3. Scootastic is now moving on in position number 3 to catch up on to Duplicate 007 along with John West 2016 in the lead. 3 cars are now battling out to take home the podium to see how they can probably have to keep things up a notch to be in the first leg, or having a pit stop will be needed to be required. As you may notice, the number of laps will be quite giving a much recommendation to be much suitable during the competition. We'll have to go endurance for only 1 stop of a pit stop is going to be much required, along with the refuel is going to be needed. So meanwhile, the Simtropolis of the Renault Sport Megane Trophy is continuing on to catch up onto SoCal J4 in 8th place by using the same car, for only a few more distance to go to be reached up onto the penalty line, folks. SoCal J4 will be having a chance to cross through onto the line. We'll be doing a quick time until the Simtropolis livery will be reached up in about 1.6 seconds, but no wait, 1.2 seconds up ahead onto the gap distance. If that means Sector 3 will be having an opportunity, will be get closed in. Slide it in and keep that good throttle on the maintain pace. Pulling up the brake to pass through onto the third hairpin towards the final corner at the right 90-degree angle. SoCal J4 can probably have that good pressure of the mobility to catch up onto Show Up 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco at position number 7. How brilliant to see how many GT players, by using the FF layout and a Renault Sport Megane Trophy, is going to be the best recommendation to be taking part in the second round of the Nations Cup. For that reason, the FR layout is going to be very much challenging, just like the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 4 and the Toyota 86 Group 4, along with any other FR layouts that might be quite participate to be in the track by only a requirement to put up with the Michelin tire stickers. But yeah, I just already got the Michelin tire sticker on the Toyota 86 Group 4 with the UDRS in Sportec for doing the first part of the segment, but this is going to be the only second attempt we'll be taking part for having a two-type chances to be using with the same car in the Renault Sport Megane Trophy. Now reaching up at the end of Sector 2, goes on over to be at Sector 3 for SoCal J4 to continue the chase to catch up with Show Up 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4. I bet he is going to be quite taking a good perfection cornering turn. Will be taking a much better pace to catch up onto the FF Group 4 racer. Now coming in onto the outside corner to be at the third hairpin towards the final corner to be at the right. Very good correct spot, and go straight up onto the straightaway at the end of lap number 5 before moving on in lap number 6. So let's see how John West 2016 is coming along. I bet he's dropped down onto position number 4 or 5, and that means Dopolit 007 is now moving on to take the lead by having a front position along with Scootastic in second place, followed by third place is XX. Brendan C. XX is now moving on to be in the bronze position. I hope John West 2016 could probably have to come up with a strategy plan to deal with 3 opponents. This is going to be his best moment out there for having the second round to be in the highlights. Going forward to take the second hairpin to go dive down, take the inside of the apex is going to get much harder as it looks. And there's Show Up 28 to catch up with the other drivers until moving on into Sector 3. Take the understeer left turn while the mid-engine layout will be doing the oversteered pressure. It's going to get much harder to be on the left side, and take the right side before moving on to the next corner. So heads up, heading back onto third hairpin is going to be the only option. We'll have to do the perfect chance to go on the advantage by having an inside position to do the apex. That should do it. Looks like this one might give a gap distance. We'll be going increased for only a small amount. 1.7 seconds up ahead for SoCal J4, while the Simtropolis livery of the Renault Sport Megane Trophy has to take that advantage to catch up onto SoCal J4 to be moving on in turn 1 at the reverse track. Show Up is now going to be taking the most ongoing defense to be in the length of the distance. So this is going to be the most interesting battle between the Renault Sport Megane Trophy and the Volkswagen Scirocco. Group 4 is now going to be moving on in Sector 2 by taking the S-curves. It's going to be the slightly challenged. We'll have to do the most balancing situation to adjust the brake. But it's going to get much closer, folks. One Renault Sport driver in position number 8 to catch up onto Volkswagen in 7th place is going to get much slightly distance by performing a slipstream. Will be going in at the end of Sector 2. That one might have a good straightaway. We'll be going up the hill. We'll be moving on until reach the left turn by having a good position cornering. So there you go. Looks like SoCal J4 has the opportunity to overtake Show Off 28. That one might give the only exact better difference to see who is the provest Group 4 racer. Will be doing the much advantage, will be mastered around the track in the reverse track in Lake Maggiore. It's going to get nearly there. This one might have a perfect moment for SoCal J4 to be moving on in lap number 8 at the end of the 7th lap. This is going to get much real of a chase. We'll have to get closer at turn 1. Show Up is taking the push limit, and there you go. Looks like SoCal J4 is moving on by the overtake in 7th place, while Show Up 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco is now dropping down onto position number 8. What a fantastic moment out there in turn 1 at the first hairpin. This is pretty brilliant to see a mid-engine layout can probably beat an FF Group 4 racer, could probably have to deal with the only handling by having a good correct steering. So here comes Sector 2, folks. Looks like this is going to be a rematch for Show Up 28. This is going to be the hardest challenge, and Simtropolis will be joining the party as well. Gonna have to get closer in onto the gap distance for only 0.2 seconds, and it's about to get nearly there towards the side-by-side, and that means Sector 3 will be on the way, folks. How brilliant to see this race is going to be quite giving a good exact battle. Is going to be much drivetrain will be going on for the limits. This won't holding back for Show Up 28, and that means for the Simtropolis variant is going to get much harder as it looks to take the hard left, and that was pretty close call, and SoCal J4 is now going on the inside at the final corner towards the straightaway at the end of lap number 8. But it's halfway there onto the fuel gauge before going over to be in the first pit stop. Just make sure to take a good pressure amount of the tires that we might give a good suitable adjust by using the brake balance control before the race begins. Well, hold on, by taking the contact, Simtropolis will have to do the right thing to let SoCal J4 will be moving on to stay in the same position to avoid a spin out and a penalty. Now here comes Sector 2 once again to take the S-curves, staying on the inside position that we might give the only safe spot, otherwise a contact that we might have to be prevent a collision to be pushing up the track. Here goes nothing, folks. It's going to get much harder in hairpin number 2. We'll be going over to be at the 3rd straightaway. And meanwhile, Show Up 28 in 9th place for the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is going to be pushing up the limits to catch up onto my current position in about 0.6 seconds behind the gap, while SoCal J4 is moving on to be at the rightful spot to be in the middle position. Take the 3rd hairpin and do the right position that we might give the only opportunity to be reached up at the final corner. So keep an eye out, folks. Looks like several GT players, by using the medium compound racing tires or the hard instead, that we might have to be taking the suitable chances to be entered in onto the pits. So here comes lap number 10, only 13 more to go. Total time is going to be 13 minutes and 40 seconds since the race began. Better make sure we're about to be reached up onto the halfway point to be at 15 minutes. 15 minutes will be given a much additional time, will be giving much better ways to be spared. As the challenging struggle continues on for the Simtropolis and the Renault Sport Megane Trophy, is going to be on the ongoing chase to catch up onto SoCal J4 in 7th place by using the same car to be moving on in the 2nd hairpin to be on a different layout curve. But slightly second thoughts, but that we might have to decelerate. We'll have to keep a good regain control to be moving on at the straightaway at Sector 3 until at the end of Sector 2. But we have a 9th place driver from Canada after overtake Show Up 28. Miss Iraja is now coming in to be at the scene. Looks like this is going to be an interesting challenge. Besides, the UDRS Insportec is going to be taking a little bit more absent by having a substitute. We'll be putting up the Simtropolis. We'll be giving a good spotlight to be having a UDI challenge. So here comes lap number 11, only 12 more to go, and that will might have the top 3 drivers will have to keep going forward to be in the same position in Sector 2 before coming over to be at the second hairpin to be reached up in Sector 3. We'll have to be giving a good exact further distance out there. Don't Pull It 007 is now going to be staying on in the lead for having the most finest running effort out there. Gonna have to keep a good steady position. Looks like Miss Irija has the opportunity. Will be dealing with the opponent with having a slight troubling to be in the reverse track. Opposite direction comes with troubling measure is going to be having a little bit more difficult times by pulling up the brakes. Just gonna have to keep a good slightly focus onto the main road of the track. Is going to get much closer, and there you go. Looks like Miss Irija overtakes Simtropolis to be dropped down onto position number 9 to be at Sector 3 at the end of the second sector. But that means this one might give a good exact challenging moments to see how several drivers will be going in to be at the pits. Brandon C is now in the lead, and that one might have race car 115 goes on to be in second place. But where's John West 2016? He is currently to be in 7th place, folks. This is going to be his greatest spot out there. We'll be having a chance, but it could be possible we'll be having several GT players in the first group will be enter the pits by switching up onto the tire compound. But that's right. This is how the strategy works perfectly in general whenever it could probably have to be starting out in the front or the middle by using the medium racing tires. And there goes for having a hard racing compound tires before exit the pits is going to be the only run out there to be moving on towards the next lap. So that makes a perfect strategy to see how they can probably have to do it in general, according to the latest tweet on Twitter about some strategy guidelines that we might have the only recommendation. So it looks like I'm at position number 5, followed by Miss Irija in 4th place from Canada to be moving on in the second hairpin to be reached up onto the 3rd straightaway at the end of Sector 2 before moving right back onto Sector 3. So it looks like XX Brendan CXX is in the lead to be on the front, while race car 115 is going to be staying on for having a current position to be in 2nd place. SoCal J4 is now moving on in 3rd place, and that means we're about to be going in to take the first pit stop to be moving on to be in the current lap situation will be get settled in to be organized. 2 of them are in the pits by using the medium compound racing tires, and that means that will be ready to go on over to enter instead. And now, looks like this is going to be the only perfect exact first place for SoCal J4, while Miss Irija is in 2nd place. Don't Pull It 007 is now in 3rd place for having an ongoing chase to catch up onto the 1st and 2nd place driver, while everybody is in the pits will be switched up onto a different compound tires will be switched up automatically by the mandatory. Refuel will be required, will be possible, will be giving a good recommendation. Just gonna have to stand by and wait until it reaches up by over 80%. Refuel and ready to go on over to get back on track. Now drop down onto position number 14 while Vito 2982 and John West 2016 overtakes Centropolis to be staying on over to be in the current position to be at the same thing, just like the Toyota 86 Group 4 from the first video segment to be on the replay. But right now, this is going to be the hardest chase out there. If any drivers will have to proceed over to the next lap by enter the pits will be required by putting up with some tire change by the mandatory. The 12th and 13th drivers are now passed on to take the hairpin number 2 will be reached up onto the straightaway at the end of the 2nd sector. And there goes SoCal J4 by having a hard racing compound tires along with Miss Irija instead. Fuel remaining for only 7% and 20% remaining, and that one might be quite good enough for Miss Irija from Canada. And there you go, looks like Don't Pull It 007 is now moving right back onto 1st place along with Scootastic in 2nd. D'Artagnan is now going to be reached up to stay in 3rd place before moving on to be in the next lap. But hold on, looks like XX Brendan CXX is now coming in to be in the scene. This one might give a good, interesting battle for 3rd place is going to be going underway, folks. I hope XX Brendan CXX could probably have to keep up the pace to deal with Darno to be in the 3rd spot. Now, looks like it's time to get ready to move on in lap number 14. Folks, looks like this is going to be quite giving a good position drop down for Miss Irija in 9th place to be dropped down to be in the exact current position, while John West 2016 is still in 10th place to be in Sector 2. Gonna have to make sure to see how Renault Sport Megane Trophy will have a good increased acceleration by having a different compound type of the tires to be in the racing category. Goes on over to be in the 2nd hairpin to be reached up onto the straightaway at the end of the 2nd sector before it goes in onto Sector 3. And we have Show Off 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is coming in about 0.7 seconds to catch up onto the Simtropolis in the Renault Sport Megane Trophy to be at Sector 3. Staying on the pace, that we might give a good left and right turn situation before it goes over to be in the 3rd hairpin again. Give a good lightweight brake and do the inside of the apex and goes on over to be at the final corner to be at the right. And there goes Jimmy Lee 131 is in the pits by using the hard compound tires by only 4% remaining until it runs out. Moving on to be in position number 10 to be at lap number 15. Only 10 minutes remaining until the race will be over soon. Just gonna have to keep a good progress of the total time. Will be get everything noticed. On to the last minute, John West 2016 still takes the chase on the ropes, and it looks like there's Show Off 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is on the comeback theory. The MR has just barely overtaken by an FF Group 4 racer by having a penalty for only 0.5 seconds by the decimal. I bet this is going to be having an instant replay to take a good look, folks. This might have an ignoring track limit is going to be having a little bit compromised for having a situation to see this race. So yeah, that's how it happens, because two cars might be giving a little bit tight situation whenever it goes in by having a length of the track is going to get much harder as it looks. Now take the full straightaway while Mother 111 is in the pits by only 4% to be in the hard racing compound tires will be suitable to be switched over to be on the medium racing tires. Now it's time to go on for having a rematch for the Simtropolis in the Renault Sport Megane Trophy will be taking on in the Volkswagen Scirocco in 9th place, driven by Show Off 28 after taking the turn 1 of the hairpin. Going up over to be at the curve straightaway to be at the left and right section to be reached over to be at the S curves in Sector 2. Keep it up. Looks like this is going to be having a hard challenge out there. MR can probably have the dealing with the FF racer, could probably have to take some tight strings. We'll have to get closer in onto the gap. For only a few more distance to go while Show Off 28 will be crossed through onto the penalty line. And there you go. Volkswagen slows down quickly while the Renault Sport Megane is doing the advantage will be pushed over to be in position number 9. But hold on, but it's not over yet. Show Off 28 could probably have to get things warmed up. Just gonna have to keep pushing up the limits. This is gonna be the most hardest race out there in the second round. And giving a little bit tight situation out there. Simtropolis in the Renault Sport Megane Trophy is going to be having a little bit tight troubling slowdown while Show Up 28 has the advantage, will be mastered the final corner to be in the full straightaway at the end of lap number 16 to be in lap number 17. Man, this is going to be so close to see this, folks. I could probably have this moment to be doing much increased speed to be going over to be at the final corner. But that means patience is the only option for a mid-engine layout. We'll be dealing with the FF Group 4 car. It's going to get much harder as it looks. Coming right back onto Sector 2, and this is going to get much grueling battle out there. Gonna have to keep a good eyes on the vehicle. If anything goes, that one might give a slightly focus whenever it comes in for having a braking point. We'll have to do a tight situation to see how the oversteer and the understeer is going to be the most epic battle to be in the FIA Gran Turismo Championship, to be in the Nations Cup and the Manufacturer Series. Staying on the edge in Sector 3, Show Off 28 is still on the defense, while the Renault Sport Megane Trophy in the Simtropolis variant is now going for the hardest deep offense ever yet. Take the third hairpin, and it looks like Show Off is going on the outside, and there you go. Looks like this is going to be on the inside out there. He knows that perfect offense for the Renault Sport Megane Trophy will be staying on over from behind. And that means for lap number 18, we'll have to proceed forward for only 5 minutes remaining. This is going to be pretty harder as it looks, folks, but I can still barely push up the limits. Going in for taking the side-by-side to be at the curve straightaway. Looks like Show Off is going to be doing the inside. We'll have to do the advantage. Gonna have to stay behind with him. This is going to get much harder as it looks. To see this race is going to be very difficult to be in Sector 1 to be coming back onto Sector 2. Now it goes in onto the second hairpin. Looks like Show Off could probably have to master this turn. Gonna have to keep up the throttle. This one is going to be very struggle to see how the MR and the FF Group 4 car could probably have to deal with each other. And now goes right back onto Sector 3 to see how Volkswagen will be staying on the tight of the defense, while Renault Sport Megane Trophy in the Simtropolis will have to stay pushed to be on the offense. But I mean, this is pretty blocked up to see this moment out there, folks. Show Off 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is staying on the line of defense. If I could probably have to keep pushing up onto the limits. Won't hold back now. This is going to be pretty difficult for having a challenge. But the spectators really love to see how Volkswagen and Renault Sport can battle out each other to be on every lap. We'll be moving on in lap number 19. Only 4 more to go, while the top 3 drivers is now going in for having a far distance to be in the current position by the gap. Dope Bullet 007 is now staying on in the lead, while Dartanol will be reached up to stay on over to be in second place. Scootastic is now dropped down for only third place by having a few more laps to go. It's going to be keeping up the pace to see how they can probably have to go on. If the 4th place driver will be having a slight focusing advantage, will have to go on the offense by taking a slightly push. This is going to be quite doing great out there, folks. The top 3 drivers are now going in to be in the same position for only a few separate gap distance by the numbers. As the battle concludes to be in the rage, looks like Show Off 28 is going to be staying on the tight defense, and looks like we have a company for only another Renault Sport Megane Trophy. Mother 111 is in the scene. Looks like this one might give a good helping hand out there for the Simtropolis by using the same car. Gonna have to proceed over to the final corner to be at the straightaway at the end of the 19th lap. Only 3 more to go, and we are going in to be at lap number 20. How fantastic to see this race can go on. Well, probably the challenging struggle for 2 Renault Sport Megane Trophy is going to get much harder out there to be dealing with a Volkswagen Scirocco. Gonna have to push up the limits. It's going to get nearly there for having a side-by-side. This is going to get much harder as it looks to be on the curb straightaway. Volkswagen takes the slightly push by having an open free space, and there it goes. Sector 2 is going to be the hard spot to be at the S curves. Take exercise caution while we can. Okay, looks like this is going to get much doing the same thing as it goes from the last lap. Now going to have to go harder out there without getting caught in the penalty by ignoring the track limits. And there you go. Looks like Show Off 28 just barely took the 0.5 second penalty. See, as it was, this is how it happens that an FF racer probably might have to keep a little bit much careful while the mid-engine layout in the Group 4 category is going to get much challenging to see how the struggle goes on. But Mother 111 will be taking turns, and that one might have the opportunity for Show Off 28 will have to proceed over to the next lap, will be forced to slow down. And there you go, looks like this is going to get much challenging as it goes to see it. Mother 111 and Show Off 28 is going to be on the side by side, and that means for having myself in the Simtropolis livery will be moving on in the 21st lap. This is very good to see this race, folks. Mother 111 takes action on Show Off 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4. And it comes down and goes straight up onto position number 9, and that's the ticket. 2 Renault Sport Maggiore trophies is now moving on to be at the 9th and 10th place, while Show Off 28 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 will be staying on in 11th place. That was a very good patient comeback moment to see how Mother 111 could probably have to do it, folks. This is going to be, oh man, it looks like this is not good. Gonna have to stay on a good correct balance. We'll have to regain control. Show Off 28 barely took a contact and still takes the 0.5 second onto the penalty. In about a few more distance to go to be reached up onto the penalty line, Show Off 28 will be forced to slow down quickly as possible, while the Simtropolis livery of the Renault Sport Maggiore trophy will have to stay on the edge of the pace. There you go, looks like this might give a good 1 second behind the gap. We'll have to give some time. Only 2 more to go, folks. Looks like this race is about to be over soon for only a few more minutes, and we have already passed 30 minutes of the total time limit. But it's time to go on for having an overtime, but this is going to get much harder to have a nice standard racing pace. We'll have to go harder as it goes to see this limits. Onward to lap number 22, and that means for several GT players by using the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy 2011 will be keep on racing, will stay on the hard pace to be reached up towards the final lap after lap number 22. But it's almost there, folks. This one might give a good total time limit. We'll be adding up by having 5 minutes. We'll be get nearly there. Mother 111 will be doing a good excellent exercise caution on the S-curves by entering sector 2. Gonna have to keep going forward to be at the second hairpin. We'll be doing the most exact braking position. There you go. Looks like this one might give a good correct direction by using the apex. Now goes on over to be at the full straightaway at the end of the second sector to be coming in onto sector 3. And here we go, folks. Looks like the top 3 drivers have already made it in onto the final lap. And Dopula 007 is now going over to be in the last sector to be proceed over onto the first part. Now coming in onto sector 2 by keeping up the pace, we'll have to keep going over to be at the first hairpin. Now goes on to be in the second curve straightaway. We'll have to stay on track, and Autodrome will have to keep angling in to be seen on Scootastic for only a few more gap distance to go to be in second place. Scootastic is staying on in third place to be keeping a good slight defense, while the fourth place driver is now going to be having a much opportunity. We'll have to get closer in onto the gap. The banners are race up, and better get ready because this is going to be the only final sector out there for the top 3 drivers. Gonna keep an eye out. Make sure to check your flag. We'll be keeping a good eyes check to see it. And there you go. Looks like this is going to be quite giving a good proceed forward for only one current driver to be in the 23rd lap. At the final corner, looks like this is going to be the only perfect exact spot out there. This is it. Dopula 007 is now coming in to be at the finish line for having a second place victory win to be in the Nations Cup. And there you go. Looks like this is going to be it, folks. Looks like this is going to be it. It's Dopula 007 has finally reached the podium to be in first place of the second round in the second season of the 2021 Series Nations Cup. Dopula 007 wins the race. That is incredible to see how he can do it. This is a very good cheer for the spectators to see how Dopula takes the win. That is incredible. That was so totally incredible to see how he can do it. This is a very good moment to be in the racing highlights, folks. That is a very fantastic Group 4 race to be in Lago Maggiore in the East Course layout. And there goes for Autodrome in second place. And there's Scootastic is finally finished in 3rd place. Everybody have made it on time, and that is going to be one heck of a good race to see how Renault Sport Maggiore Trophies is going to be the best recommended racer to be in a good chance of having a one-make race to be as a party. Only one Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is John West 2016 have finally finished in 8th place. Very good job, well done without having a 1-minute penalty. So let's see, this is going to be having a scroll down for only several drivers. It looks like Disinterest _ B in the Porsche Cayman GT Pro Plus for just barely mark a DNF. 1 lap plus for Big Red Hippie 3 and El Moro 14 in the Chevy Corvette C7 and the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is now going to be proceed early because this is going to be having a result to be confirmed. Very good consecutive restart for having a one clean race to be achieved. But I just want to make sure that if I could probably have to go back over to do a daily race. But that was a very good, excited 2nd round race, folks. We did a pretty good, proud job, well done. Wow, so much hard work barely pays off for having a good mid-engine layout will be doing the best pick. So the top 3 drivers by using the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy 2011 did a good successful race finish for having a good moment out there. Dopullet 007 did a great job. Dardanel did good in 2nd place. And for Scootastic has finally did pretty good in 3rd place. And that means that one might give a good congratulations for the 2 drivers while Dardanel is now leaving the room. Good job, you 2. Very good job. So that means round 2 is doing a successful finish, and that means round 3 will be coming up for having another different category. We'll be moving on, we'll be settled in to be in a different track. Now that's competition for a Group 4 category. It's very good to have a Michelin tire sticker for the Renault Sport Maggiore Trophy with a Centropolis livery variant to be giving a good placement to be in the spotlight. Just like all of your liveries by using the same car, and that means just gonna have to be added by one will be featured to be in the spotlight. But thankfully, the Toyota 86 Group 4 with the UDRS in Sportec is gonna be the best pick, will be taking part as a promise, will be suitable to be in the replay in round 2 of the Nations Cup in the 2nd season. It's all in the day's work for round 2 is going to be finished. At the end of the month in round 3 we'll be proceed on to the next race. It's going to be at Dragon Trail Seaside Reverse for 20 laps by using the Group 3 category. There's going to be 2 types of tires will be settled in by the mandatory we'll be using with the medium and hard racing compound tires will be required. Good luck out there, folks, and watch out for the dead chicane after turn 1 in the first hairpin. Thank you for tuning in on my video, folks. I hope you enjoy. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, bell for notification uploads to be turned on, and the links are in the description down below if you really want to see more. You can check it out on Instagram, Deepnet Art, GT Planet, and other social media platforms if you really want to follow me. And don't forget to support my main project, Vision Total Drama, the next chapter of the Total Drama fan art to support the community. I'll be seeing you guys next time in the 2021 Series Nations Cup on Gran Turismo Sport, and I will see you later in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.